of what, Gregory?
The heart.
Oh, so I do. The noblest that I have. Oh, but my eyes could see a lady first, before she purged the air of pestilence.
It's talk design.
The element itself, till 7 years he shall not behold a face and tamper with you.
Pop-up globe is the first ever full-scale temporary working replica of the second Globe Theatre. That's a theatre that was built after the first Globe Theatre burnt down in 1613. And it's a theatre that Shakespeare and his colleagues rebuilt after a devastating fire, and they made it more sumptuous and luxurious than ever before, and they also improved upon its design. And we've reconstructed Pop-up Globe, this second Globe Theatre, based on groundbreaking research by Sydney University. When you enter the building, you see immediately that it's on 3 levels. The exterior of it is white. You come into the yard. That's the large open area in front of the stage. There is a huge stage. The stage itself is about the size of a small house. And around the stage on 3 levels are galleries where audience members can sit. It's a 360-degree playing space. There is sitting behind the stage in the lords and gentlemen's rooms, and in Shakespeare's day they would have been filled with the aristocracy.
The season is 10 weeks long. It's a very intense season, and it's headlined by the 2 shows which are being performed by our own cast and company, which are Twelfth Night and Romeo and Juliet. There are another 6 shows which will be brought in by visiting companies, which include The Tempest, Titus, Much Ado About Nothing, Hamlet and others. So in total it's a very rich program, and this theatre will be very, very busy for the period of time that it exists. In addition to that, there are acting classes, there are classes for teachers. We have almost 20,000 school students coming in through the course of the season to enjoy the performances right here.
So this is Wenceslas Holler's Long View of London, which was published in 1647 based on some sketches that he had made. And on the south bank of the Thames here is the second Globe Theatre. This is one of the most important pieces of evidence for what the second Globe Theatre looked like, and one of the principal exhibits that lies behind the reconstruction that's down in Auckland at the moment. When the theatres were closed in 1642, the Globe Theatre was pulled down. It says bear baiting, but it's been, as some contemporary maps also are, mislabelled. That is actually the Globe Theatre. Theatres were closed in 1642. The Globe Theatre was pulled down. Reconstructing a fully worked out, thought through model of what a playing space of Shakespeare's time might have been like, for which these plays were originally designed, is extraordinarily helpful in thinking about the particular texture of those plays. I think of it as like having access to Mozart's piano, that you have some music which is very familiar in modern performance, and here you have an instrument on which you can explore what kind of character that music might have had as originally written. Now, there are all kinds of interesting problems about that, but if you sit down to play, say, a Mozart sonata on one of his pianos, you find things out about the shape of the lines, the way they interact, the kind of clarity that he had access to with the resources at his disposal. The same thing applies to something like the Second Globe model. If you get actors working with the early texts on a space which is, broadly speaking, approximate to what they would have originally been played on, you find out new things about how they work as theatrical machines. Executed traitors, so as you walk into the city you would walk underneath their heads. But so I think it would have been perfectly consistent with everything that he knew in his theatre, and for which he had designed his theatre, to find it in a foreign location with a variety of companies.